Blackstone Audio and Buck 50 Productions present Crazy Sexy Revenge by J.D. Mason. This book is read by Nicole Small. Prologue. Jordan's eyes locked onto Lonnie's, and suddenly the world was void of everyone and everything except for the two of them. He turned and walked toward her. She needed him. "Don't you dare!" his wife Claire commanded from behind him. For some reason he would never understand, Jordan froze in his tracks. Lonnie held on to the stair rail and slowly dropped to a seated position on one of the steps, lowered her head, and raised a trembling hand to her chest. "Oh," she cried out as she saw blood seeping from her chest through her silk blouse. "Lonnie!" he screamed in his head. Or maybe he'd said it out loud, he didn't know. It didn't matter. She needed him, and he needed to be with her. "You made me do it," Claire called out. "I wouldn't have. I did it for you. I did it because of you." "Shit. Go back. Go back inside. Hurry the fuck up," he heard a man say. He looked over his shoulder and saw a couple, a white woman and a black man, run back toward a room at the other end of the building, and all of a sudden he remembered where he was, and most importantly, who he was. He was Jordan Gatewood. Jordan turned to look at Lonnie, who lay back on the steps, clutching her chest, crying, gasping. Out of the corner of his eye he noticed curtains to one of the other motel rooms suddenly close. From some faraway place he could hear Claire crying, sobbing like a child, and if he listened intently enough, if he truly focused, he could have sworn that he heard Lonnie fighting to take her last breath. He was Jordan Gatewood. Jordan stood in that spot long enough to watch the woman he'd loved die. Lonnie lay still, her hand dropping from the railing she'd clung to so desperately. Claire cried in the background, and there were witnesses. He was Jordan fucking Gatewood. Jordan turned and marched over to Claire, picked up the gun she dropped at her feet, grabbed hold of her arm, and dragged her back to his car parked next to hers in the lot. He flung open the passenger door. "Get in," he commanded, shoving her forcibly into the vehicle. The lump in his throat was as big as a fist, and it threatened to choke him to death. "I did it for us," she protested, looking up at him tearfully. "I did it. You drove me to do this."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?